Millions of married couples are living a lie. One is gay and the other one knows nothing about it. So why do they marry in the first place? And what happens when they finally come out? Well, tonight, 16 by 9 brings you some truly candid conversations with men and women who have lived double lives.
Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married.
When Paul Cogan got married in Toronto 25 years ago, there was a big secret he was keeping from his lovely bride. He was in love, all right, but he was in love with his best man.
We got married, and
I was the best man.
And Michael stood up as my best man.
Michael Moreau had been Paul's lover until one day Paul started questioning his sexuality.
Consciously, I was aware that I was gay since the age of 12, but subconsciously, I don't think I ever sort of accepted the fact that I was gay.
So Paul met Carol, and Michael faded away into the background.
One day I was a gay man, and the next day I had stepped into the straight world and had fallen for a young, attractive woman. And I decided, well, I'm going to pursue this over here because I was under tremendous pressure from my family and from my work environment to go ahead and demonstrate publicly that I was in fact straight.
I decided to just stand back and let him work it out for himself.
Paul and Carol moved to Pickering and had 4 children, but as time passed, Paul couldn't hide his real self.
I just realized, well, okay, I made a big mistake by leaving the gay life and coming into the straight life.
So after 25 years and 4 children, Paul left his wife, Carol. He could no longer be someone else. So he re-entered life as a gay man. And as fate would have it, his first love, Mike, was waiting in the wings.
I really wanted to find somebody in my own lifestyle that I could settle down with and sort of rock in the rocking chair on the porch and for the later years of my life.
I started escorting when I was in my early 20s.
Todd Link was once a male escort. He was paid big money to have sex with men. And shockingly, he says, half his clients were married men.
There were guys who were quite older who said, you know what, my wife and I have a great life, and I'm 60 and we don't really have a lot of sex anyways, and what she doesn't know doesn't hurt her. And some of them were very clear and psychologically aware of who they were. They'd like, you know what, I am a gay man. I just didn't figure it out.
Todd is now part owner of a club called Good Handy in Toronto, but he remembers his life being part escort and part therapist.
Did you ever feel sorry for these men?
I feel sorry for somebody who is in a relationship that involves a lot of lying or any lying.
By all appearances, they were the perfect couple.
Go, Alan! Go, Alan! Now it's obvious that's why Nancy married him, right?
Nancy Davis and her husband Alan were the envy of all their friends. They lived a wonderful life, and with their 2 beautiful children, these college sweethearts seemed so much in love.
He was my first true love. It was all very romantic.
But her first true love was hiding a secret and living a double life. And after 25 years, it was a secret he couldn't hide any longer.
He just broke down in tears and said, Nancy, I just have to just tell you this. I'm gay. And my world just just stopped.
Nancy was in complete shock. She says her husband admitted having sex with other men while they were married.
And that made me very angry because that means that not only had he lied, but he was messing around with my health.
Her husband moved out and fell in love with another man, but Nancy's life remained in a turmoil.
The most painful thing to me was I was realizing that the marriage that I had was a sham, and that I had just spent 25 years of my life being lied to.
And caught in the crossfire were her children. Her daughter Amy says she'll never forget the night her father told her he was gay.
I remember him saying that he loves us and that he loved Mom, that nothing was going to change.
Amy says something big did change. Her father's coming out affected her relationship with other men.
A girl's father is supposed to be somebody that she can always compare the men in her life to. Is he treating me the way that my father treats my mother? And do I feel the same way about him that my mother feels about my father? And I just can't do that.
But it's not just married gay men. There are plenty of married women who also lead double lives.
I didn't want to be gay. Being straight is much easier.
Nora Logan had been married to her husband for 22 years. They had 3 daughters and lived a traditional life in Mississauga. But she says at 42 years of age, she couldn't deny who she was any longer.
And I went to a gym and I was working out, and I just fell madly in love with the gym teacher.
She said she shared her feelings with her husband and even went to a therapist about it.
This feeling wouldn't go away. It was getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and I had to be with a woman.
Nora says she finally had to face the truth for herself and her husband.
Eventually, I told my husband I was gay and I couldn't do it anymore. And 6 months after I left him, I met a woman.
And she kept meeting women, most of them married, leading double lives.
Believe it or not, a lot of them were married women.
Nora says she had her first intimate relationship with a woman she met from Texas on the internet.
I never felt anything like it at that time. It was the first time I'd ever been with a woman, and I knew when we get into an intimate kiss that this is where I belonged.
Bonnie Kay is an author and runs a website and support group for mostly women whose husbands are gay. She too was married to a gay man who left her. She has counseled close to 45,000 women in both the U.S. and Canada.
I think today that more and more people, by the time they hit mid-age, they can't keep pretending.
Bonnie's most popular book is entitled The Gay Husband's Checklist for Women Who Wonder. In her book, she outlines some of the signs.
Some of the main points are that, first of all, if you notice a sudden decline in sexual activity when you first start a relationship, this is definitely a red flag. You can always track men through their internet habits. A lot of men spend a lot of time on the internet looking at gay porn. I teach women how to buy spyware and track what their husbands are doing because you need to know.
And Bonnie says, in the end, it's not about being gay, it's about being honest.
There comes a time in life when you have to be honest with your partner and say, look, I have another life, and take the consequences.
And for Paul Hogan and Mike Moreau, it is now all about honesty, lifelong commitment, and the institution society holds so dear, marriage.
He was the love of my life.
I was the one who proposed.
At last.
Coming up next, the wedding.
I now joyously and proudly declare husband and husband, beloved partners, and best of friends.
Did you miss something? Watch our show 16 by 9 online at global16by9.com.